Good job back again. Once again, let's lock in. Shout out to the IPA. You already know who you guys are. Affiliates, good docs, good books, merch, description area below. Let's lock in. I have to share this story with you. I truly do, because this is a perspective that even I never really looked at it from. So, had a fellow brethren of mine hit me up in an email recently. He's not gonna mind, because I'm just gonna keep his name out of it, because it's nobody else's business about the name. Let's just get to the story. So I had a fellow brethren of mine hit me up in the email. He was like, yo, Doc, man, I need some help, right? And so he commits us to telling me this story that was actually kind of profound to an extent. And like I said, I never really thought of it like this. So my man was talking to a girl online real quick, a girl that he thought that he was not necessarily in love with, but a girl that he could actually see himself having a certain type of future with, right? They were talking, having good conversations. He gets to the Philippines. They meet for the first time. They end up linking up. They ended up having, you know, good company. The girl leaves and basically doesn't text him ever again. Like never. The number that she had disconnected, or you know, they use prepaid SIM cards. The phone, the number you have dialed is no longer available at out of coverage service. That shit. Any type of social media she had, he was blocked from. The online dating site where they met, profile was gone. And he was like, yo, I don't know what to do. I actually really like this girl. But basically, it felt as though she used me for sex and then just dismissed me. Now, from the male perspective, many of us may say, man, shit. If a girl want to use me for sex, have that like a crack at it, right? I'm good for that. I'm straight. Shit, I just want to fuck anyways. But if you're actually trying to talk to somebody in the hopes that it could grow into something more, that wound cuts deep. When they basically just dismiss you, or you have no understanding, rhyme, or reason as to why she no longer want to fuck with you. Or she just completely blocks you from all socials and everything. Like she just doesn't want anything to do with you. Because in your mind, you're thinking, damn, was the sex bad? Was it not as good as she thought? Did our conversation fall apart? Did I say something that pissed her off or anything? Again, because my man genuinely took a liking to this particular young lady. And so, you know, he's going through all of this shit in his head. And the only thing that he could really come up with is she basically just used him for the dick. Pretty much that's it. She just used him to get some sex. Maybe she had a fetish for black guys. Maybe she wanted to try a black guy for one time. She tried it. She was good. She wants to go back to what she was doing. Maybe she already had a relationship. Who knows? But for whatever reason, he thought everything was good and everything was progressing in the right way. And then the shit fell apart in an instant because he no longer knew why. Whatever they had going on was just done for him. And so you think about it from that perspective, and a lot of guys, with all due respect, they're not really used to being objectified in that manner, right? Some of us will appreciate it. Marcus definitely appreciated it, and going into relationships with the mindset that, hey, if we just having fun, we having fun, that's all it is, and I'm cool with that, or he was cool with that, it's okay, because that's the mindset. But when your mindset is, I'm looking forward to progressing this into something, possibly, and it don't, we just fucking, you dismiss me, I don't care who you are, guys, that's gotta hurt. That's gonna hit you right here, especially if you don't know the reason why it fell apart. That's what really kills you. I mean, at least if I had a legit answer to why it fell apart, or a legit reason, at least for my mans and them, why it fell apart, I'll be good there. Because I'm like, okay, cool. I'll have to accept it for what it is. You just don't rock with me because of this reason. But when you don't have the why, it tears you up inside. And that was kind of what, you know, the email talked about. And, you know, he doesn't know how to push forward and everything. And I think he's actually like really kind of just disappointed in the entire situation. Again, from the opposite perspective, a lot of us brothers would be like, hey man, we're not used to being used and objectified, but girl, if you just want this dick and I can go on about my business and you're not gonna hold me to a commitment, I'm all in. Cool. But again, my man was actually looking for something that these other people who hate on passport bros talk about. He was actually looking for that in some of these young ladies. And he tried. The motherfucker tried. He did everything he felt he did right. But apparently it didn't end up right. And so now he kind of confused, right? I mean, I'm definitely looking for suggestions. You know, comment section below if you guys have any suggestions for my guy. You know, just move on seems to be the best plan of action. But you gotta understand, when you talk to somebody for a little bit and you kind of felt that it was progressing towards something, it's not just the easiest thing in the world to just move on. Because I don't care what type of guy you are, once you, I don't want to say catch feelings, but that's pretty much the only way to say it. But once you start to feel a certain type of way for somebody, you know, it's not as easy just to turn that shit off and keep moving. Yes, I understand there are a lot of red pill, MGTOW, SYSBN, whatever it may be, that will say fuck all women and, you know, you got to live your life like this and structured and this is the reason why we do this, that, and the other. I understand that. But in reality, not everybody lives like that. Not everybody lives like that. People actually have fucking emotions. Guys, I'm not sitting there acting like they out here crying and fucking bitching on, you know, all types of shit, but I feel too. I'm a guy. I got feelings, motherfucker. Like, you a human being. You feel shit. And my man was just feeling the way. And when he sent it to me, I felt the way for him, because there's nothing worse than when you don't get an explanation as to why. That's pretty much all it really was, in my opinion. But then again, like I said, he went into the idea of this woman just using him for sex because he was a black guy. And he started kind of breaking it down for me in a way that kind of led me to believe, yeah, she just wanted to try some BBC for the first time in her life, right? Now, I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. And again, this is anonymity, so it doesn't really matter. So apparently when he was talking to this girl, the way it started out is, you know, she would send him sexy pictures and stuff like that. And she really started doing that first, right? It's a red flag, of course, but you don't really think anything of it because, hey man, you just want to see some titties. Who cares, right? She want to see this dick. Cool. So, you know, she kept asking for dick pics, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with a liberated young lady. Again, you know, it depends on what you're looking for, right? Hopefully she ain't out there asking all these other guys. But again, in hindsight, now that I think about it, she probably was asking that for a lot of other dudes, right? And he could have been just the first guy to come to the Philippines that she was actually able to get away and do what she needed to do, have her fun and go back to her life again. Whatever it was, that's now that I think about it, that's probably how I ended up. But you know, she was asking for dick pics and stuff like that. And she kept saying stuff like, oh, I can't wait to see you. Oh my God, the sex is probably going to be amazing. And you know, there's nothing more exciting than when you know that when you touch down, you guarantee to get you something, right? I kind of think that works for a lot of guys, right? And if you're not thinking about it and you're like, yo, this girl just wants to be with me, she wants to spend some time with me, she ain't really asking for money because he said he didn't pay her anything or whatever, she paid herself to get to wherever she needed to go to, so it wasn't really about the money aspect. You know, once you break down and go through everything that was said, you know, the fact that she kept asking for pics, how excited she was, you know, she kept talking about sex and shit, you know, and all that stuff. And then you end up linking up, and then on like the first night or the second night, y'all actually in bed together and all that shit. And you're thinking, you know, hey, she was just feeling me, and that could be a possibility. But then she kind of block you like the minute y'all separate. Everything seemed to be separating on a good accord, or everything was good. She kind of had to go to work that day apparently, and she just left, and you never hear from her again. You know, it's the lack of closure that will fuck you up, right? It's the lack of closure that'll make you say, damn, and clutch your pearls and shit and be like, this motherfucker objectified me, right? She just used me like a piece of the masculine male meat that I am. She used my masculine male meat and then took advantage of me and fucking left, right? Make a motherfucker want to clutch his pearls and shit. But deep down, I feel for him, you know? I feel for him. Because nothing cuts deeper than when you think something's going the direction that you think it is going and it goes completely left, right? It goes completely the opposite direction. But again, ladies and gentlemen, you know, there's no worse feeling than being objectified, man. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I guess this is how females feel when they go through them, when they go through it, because on the opposite end, I still feel that, you know, there's always some way that a person, you know, male, female, whatever, is gonna feel objectified. That could be a man spending all this money on a young lady and nothing happened, like, damn, you just used me for this, or a young lady on the opposite end just using my man's for his package. And it's like, how do we come back from that? Usually it's easy for a lot of us, but for guys who actually have feelings and emotions and they feel shit, it's not always gonna be as easy to bounce back. So I'm trying to look for some good advice from my guy. I'm gonna direct him to this video. I'm gonna tell him don't respond because I don't think it's necessary for him to reveal himself, you know, by responding to any of the comments, but give my man some good advice, right? I think that'll be ideal, man. I think that would be ideal. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section below, man. It's been a good day, bro. Y'all take care. Y'all stay blessed, man. Talk on to the next one.